engaged couple or just finally getting around to planning that wedding, this show is for you. Our goal is to share everything that we've learned as a married couple and also as wedding vendors, wedding photographers, and a videographer in the industry, and be able to help you plan the wedding of your dreams. I'm Sylvia Santos.
And I'm Josh Santos.
And this is Forever Has a Ring to It. Today we have a dear friend of mine, someone so near and special to our hearts, Chelsea Davis with Beloved Weddings. Hey, Chels.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, absolutely. It is an absolute honor to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, cat's out of the bag. I'm a wedding planner. I actually got into wedding planning back in 2018 when my husband and I planned our wedding, and I just loved every aspect of it, all of the details, having to chase the vendors and send the emails and, putting together this magical day. It was absolutely perfect. And I remember thinking all during the process of planning the wedding, I really wish that I could do this like as a job. That would just be so fun. And I ended up actually doing that. So I really started my business in 2019 and kind of, picked up and ran with it. And here I am years later, still loving what I do.
And apparently you do a very great job, because we have heard from brides over and over again that you are worth your weight in gold.
Boy, would I like to have my weight in gold.
Well, if you ever get around to that, please share it with us.
Always.
Your story there actually resonates with Sylvia, how she got her start as well, because she always wanted to pick up a camera and shoot weddings, and she thought that was fun. Same idea there, and I feel like that's how a lot of us in the industry get started.
I agree. That's basically every vendor that you talk to, some way or another finds their way to what they're doing now through the love of doing it, their own wedding or helping a friend, or it's
Right. Unlike me, though, I got my start because my wife did it. So,
You got dragged along.
hey, what's yours is mine, right?
although to her credit, she knows me better than anyone else on this earth, and she was right. I did click to it.
Yeah. And as far as you planning weddings, we have had the honor and the privilege to be able to work with you, and that was probably one of the smoothest weddings we have ever worked.
Oh, yes. Right here in Mount Dora, not too long ago.
Yep, and it's funny because that was the largest group of people that I've had for a wedding before, largest guest count. So, and having you guys there, it was our first time working together, and it was perfect. You worked so well with me and with all the other vendors, and were clearly loved by everybody there. They just actually listened to you guys, and you were able to captivate them, and it was amazing.
Yeah, I will say it was a large group. I think it was close to 200 people.
Yeah.
It was or 150. It
was
was a lot of
200,
people.
maybe a few over that.
It was a large group. I felt like I was wrangling tiny little dinosaurs all day, although they were great. Now, Chelsea, what is a planner for those of couples out there who aren't entirely sure if they're really needing one?
It's kind of a hard thing to define, but I find the most useful a planner can be is if you are struggling with time. If you just simply don't have the time, or you're finding yourself stressed thinking about your wedding, hiring a planner is so worth it, because they are the ones that are going to take on all that amount of stress. They're going to be the ones spending their day, herding cats when it comes to finding all your vendors and just making sure that everything lines up. There are things that a planner can do for you that you might not have even thought about. There's a lot of moving parts with a wedding, and having someone there that's their main primary focus is your day, that's worth its weight in gold, honestly. And whether somebody has, thought about having a planner, or they're kind of like, it's really not for me, I feel like it's worth at least talking with other people and seeing how their wedding went, if they did or did not have a planner. If you're a high anxiety bride, which I find most of my brides are, if you're a high anxiety bride, it's worth it because you want your day to be perfect and you want to be able to go into it feeling relaxed and be able to actually enjoy it, and having someone doing all this stuff so that you can just live the dream and be in that fairy tale, that's key.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy? I love that you started off by saying, how do I even define this? And that's a really good point because as a planner, you do everything. You do
Yes.
everything.
More than everything.
You run the whole show, the back end, the front end, and you essentially put it all together. And it's so amazing to have witnessed you do all of those things. But also, you know, when you said that you can't really define it, I love that because you really can't define it.
You really can't, because when you sign up, when you book a planner, you at that point don't really know what to expect. And there are so many things that I've done that I never in my wildest dreams would have thought to do on a wedding day.
There's so many things on the back end too that they don't witness, and they just show up to the wedding day and everything's done. And, you know, thanks to all your grand skills, of course. and you mentioned time, you know, that's really important because you don't have as much time. That wedding day just comes closer and closer.
It does.
At any moment, and you just turn up to the event, and the day of the wedding is one of the fastest days of your life. I mean, I felt like that on our own personal wedding day.
I think I blinked and it was
blinked.
over.
And it was we were already in Hawaii for our honeymoon at that point. But after I blinked.
By the time we got to process everything, we were like, oh, wow, we're like in the ocean.
Right?
Different place.
How did I get here?
It takes a lot of skill to do what you do.
Thank you.
I definitely can relate in the strangest sense, not having a wedding planner. I wish that we would have had a wedding planner. I mean, looking back, oof, man, I wish we had a wedding planner.
And I might have wished I was a little more involved too. So
The truth comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking back, there was just so much that happened, and at the time, I was living in Florida on my own. It was me and Honey Bunny, my little pup, and it was just us, and I was figuring everything out on my own, and family tried to help, but I was just so focused on everything that had to get done because I was working a full-time job and overtime every single week. I was doing like 60 or 70 hours at the hospital
Minimum.
when I used to be a CMA, and it was wild. And then Josh, oh gosh.
While she was being stressed out, I was up skiing on the mountains of Finland.
Yeah, he was
every
terrible.
weekend.
He was
So-
like entirely like MIA
and
because
anywhere on a plane, living life.
he was on a work trip.
Yes.
But we were like 8-hour time difference, so like
Oh.
I was getting out of work and he was going to bed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a time, and looking back, I definitely wish that we would have had a wedding planner, and they are so important. But I didn't know that until after the fact. So definitely something that I would love to do over one day.
Vow renewal.
Oh yeah, definitely planning on that one.
We know who to contact.
Speed dial. So tell me a little bit. I keep playing with my hair every time I go to the mic.
Because you have beautiful hair.
Oh, thank you. It's luxurious. I showered today.
Took a while to do this morning, but it does look fantastic.
Josh packed everything. If you're watching this right now, he packed everything. So tell me a little bit about what someone should know when they're booking a planner, and how do you know the right planner for you?
These are all great questions, yet also very difficult to answer in certain ways. Really, my biggest word of advice that I can give to somebody is pick up the phone and call a wedding planner. Call them all. Call as many as you need to, because it's all about finding that connection, and you want to have somebody that you you hit it off like right away on the phone call. I'm a total dork. I am a very goofy person. I don't know. Any chance that I get,
It's like the best part about you.
any chance that I get to put in some goofy quip, I'm going to do it. It's important to find somebody who you feel puts you at ease and who is kind of like the same personality. I'll be honest, I am not the wedding planner for you if you are like a very frilly, prissy, sorry, no offense. If you're that type of bride, I might not be it. I was born in a small town, and I have
dirt bikes.
Yeah, dirt bikes. Yeah.
She got a new one for Christmas, guys.
Yes, I'm that person. So for me, I was really big into sports growing up, so I'm used to like go, go, go and getting things done, and I will get down on my hands and knees and do whatever I need to on the wedding day, like fixing a table or putting together an arch with a drill, whatever. I'm that type of person. So when looking for a planner, it's important to have the connection to know kind of what you want and what you want to get out of your wedding day. And you need somebody that you can trust. And I mean, it's really so important because a lot of money goes into the wedding.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of thought, a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody that you kind of feel carries stress poorly, red flag.
Immediately, yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want a pro in your corner that has like the same vision as you and that you can connect to. I agree with that because we have that same philosophy where when we book with our couples and get to know them, right, in order to capture their wedding day, we need to acknowledge the same vision that they have and
Yes.
Really get to know them on a personal level, and that's how we can deliver at a greater quality, and especially same with someone who's planning your wedding day.
Yes, and another thing that I can say is ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. It's so important to be able to actually know what you're looking for. Maybe do a little bit of research on questions to ask a wedding planner when looking to book one, because there are things that certain planners do that other planners don't. And you need to be very upfront with what your expectations are to see if you're a good fit from the very beginning.
Absolutely. So when do you think would be a good time for couples to start looking into planning or look into finding a planner to start planning their wedding day?
I knew what you meant.
Thank you.
Really, it depends on what you want. If you are a type A bride, you might already kind of know exactly what you want. So you don't really need your planner until you get to the point where you're like, I'm ready to just kick back and whatever. I recommend as soon as couples get engaged, that's probably the time to look for a planner, because the planner can help you find that dream venue, to find all your dream vendors, and the sooner that you start working with them, the sooner you get to kind of take the back seat and relax and not have to worry about all those little
That's a good way to put it.
details.
Yeah, definitely a 10 out of 10 answer.
Wow.
That's why you're on episode 3. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think that a planner can definitely streamline everything and just make the process so much easier. You want someone in your corner who has been through it. As Josh and I were the first to get married in our families in a long time.
Yes,
It would-
especially in our generation of cousins and whatnot.
Yeah,
we were the first.
We were the first, and
There's
looking.
still not a runner-up.
Your brother's not too far behind.
That's true. I forgot about my own twin brother.
Not the twin. But looking back, I wish I would have had a planner for that reason. Especially we had no idea what we were doing, and looking back now, we have both agreed that there's so much that we would have, one, done differently, but two, as far as our wedding day, it was wild. All we did was blink and everything was over, and no one was really facilitating the back end of things. And of course, we had wonderful vendors. Everyone showed up. They did what they were supposed to do. What made it difficult was, as wonderful as our vendors were, no one communicated with each other. I think that a planner is that missing piece in all aspects.
Right.
Yes. I want to say something about that. So with, yes, I'm a wedding planner, and a wedding planner is someone who plans like your entire day. But if it's just not in your budget to get a full-on wedding planner for all of those things, do yourself a favor and at least hire a day of coordinator.
Yes. Or even a month of.
Yes. So technically, like, my day of package includes a month of planning, because it's so important to have that time with the bride, because you get to learn a little bit about them, what's important to them, also learn all their vendors. And once I learn their vendors and I help them with the timeline, I then reach out to all the vendors. I'm like, hey, I'm Chelsea. I'm the day of coordinator for so-and-so's wedding. Here is the final timeline. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know what time you're arriving that day, blah, blah, blah. So that I can kind of get a feel for that vendor and also start the line of communication then, because communication is huge. If you don't have that on your wedding day, if your vendors are not, like you said, if they're not talking to one another, it's really tough, because it is a team effort. Everyone has their own jobs that they have to do. We are basically in charge of making sure that everyone is doing what they need to. Never really had a problem there, but it can happen. So communication is so huge.
It's so easy to forget that there's actually a schedule taking place, and that you need to have someone checking the clock.
Yes.
That's huge. I mean, wedding days just flow easier, even from our perspective.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, even working weddings, I feel like all we do is blink and it's over. It's so funny, because now that we've done we've done a lot of weddings, but now that we've kind of gone into shooting weddings and working with other vendors, I mean, even we get carried away at moments where it's like, oh, the lighting, it's so magical.
Right.
And then,
one more minute. One more photo. What? It turns into...
Yeah.
If you hear your photographer say one more photo,
it's not
they
one
lied.
more photo.
They lied.
It's not.
Get some water. Take a breather.
Yeah.
They lied. But as far as that goes, I mean, we do tend to get caught up. DJ gets excited. Everyone's excited for you, planning and celebrating during your big day. In that moment, a planner is definitely something that is needed. And just to really make this message clear, guys, a event coordinator who is staffed on your wedding, at your wedding venue, is not a wedding planner.
Yes. Couldn't have said it better. And I'm so glad that you brought that up, because people do often get confused. They're like, oh, my venue has an event coordinator, so I'm good. No, you're really not.
Yeah.
There are some that are extremely helpful and they go beyond their scope of work, and oftentimes they're just there to open the doors. And I don't mean to offend anybody, because everyone's job is important, but they're there to open the doors and basically like oversee everything. They're there just to make sure if the lights go out that they know how to flip them back on, or if we lose power or something, there's someone there on site to take care of stuff like that. But they're not going to go and make sure that your photographer is good on time. They're not going to check with the caterer and make sure that everything's running smoothly for them. They're there to cover the venue.
Yes.
That's it.
Their sole job is to make sure that the venue itself does not go up in flames. Yes. That people are behaving, because weddings can get wild.
We had one of those on our own wedding day, I believe.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah.
They creepily watched us do our last dance and cleaned up as we did our last dance.
Yeah,
I will never forget that.
If we hired a wedding planner, they would have kicked them right back out.
Yeah.
And let us enjoy our moment.
Yeah, that's a private moment.
This is why you guys get a wedding planner. But yeah, looking back, for sure, definitely. And yeah, the truth is, event coordinators are there to cover the wedding venue, and it is something that is separate from a wedding planner. Some event coordinators go above and beyond. Some of them are absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
and we'll stay in touch with your photographer. We'll go ahead and let your DJ know, hey, it's time to do this, it's time to do that. But again, at the end of the day, they're just trying to make sure that the venue and everything on their behalf is running smoothly. So definitely consider hiring a wedding planner.
They've got your back.
Absolutely. And with that, what is the biggest thing you want all engaged couples to know? Big question.
Yeah. I've thought about this before. I've been asked that question, and really the most important thing that I would want someone to know is it is your day, and you have to think about what you actually want. And, you know, a lot of family will have input on everything. Sometimes
Ours did.
right. Sometimes, like, you know, family members didn't get the kind of wedding that you're getting, so they kind of tend to relive their wedding day through you. That's a really tough thing to deal with. So I basically just want to say, make sure that you are listening to your heart and what you and your future husband or wife want to get out of your wedding day. And I don't know. It's really tough. There are so many different things that I could say.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed it.
That's a big one. Just follow your heart and think in 10 years when you look back at your wedding videos, which get a videographer, by the way.
Do it.
I didn't have one. That was our number one regret from our wedding day. But, you know, just think about the future when you look back on your wedding day. What's most important to you, and make sure that those things happen. No one really cares about the little things like favors, skip it. You know, just go big or go home. Go with what you want, with what's in your heart.
Exactly. What's ever in your vision, how you picture it. But most importantly, remember to have fun with it, too,
Yes.
especially while planning it, while doing it, and just take a moment of breather. I remember, like, that was one of my favorite moments, just during the reception. Just enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yep.
It goes really quick, and take the time to enjoy your engagement. Take the time to enjoy your wedding planning process. Hire a pro, someone in your corner who, you know, isn't an aunt or a cousin or someone.
Uncle Tom that kind of knows how to use the camera.
Yeah, they're beautiful people. We love Uncle Tom, and we love our aunts and all the cousins who try to help and everyone in between. But hire someone to do the job right. I think that sums it up really well. And yeah, 10 out of 10.
Can I do one of these?
Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And yeah, I guess that wraps up episode 3. Well,
thank you so much, Chelsea, for joining us. And if you ever need, who's ever listening, a fantastic, smiling wedding planner, Chelsea
Davis, my
Thank
beloved
you.
wedding. We appreciate
thank you guys.
Thank you for
This
coming
was
on the show.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
And that's it for us, guys.
Yes, so thank you for tuning in to our podcast named Forever Has a Ring to It.
I forgot the name. And that's a wrap.
Thank you.